Alright guys, we just got a dev update for V-Rising's 1.1 patch. It was a long time coming. It's called Whispers of Darkness, and I've already read through it a little bit. I'm going to cover it in its entirety, but I will say there are some things that were left out that I think that need to be put into this update for it to be successful. And I'll get into that kind of rant after I finish covering this, but yeah, getting right into it, it seems like they're trying to rope a lot of people into the PvP in the game. Seems like a big theme of this update. So here they're just prefacing this next section with the idea of character control and build path, stuff like that. Like here they're showing the General Soul Reaper, which is like the first idea that they had with making a specific build, customizing your character. Like this Reaper, General Soul Reaper, gives spell powers, unique drop from Krieg. Doesn't exist anymore, but if you were a Scholar build, you would want to use this. You'd swap to this weapon, even though it's a lower gear level, Merciless Iron, because it gave spell power. The other stuff didn't. So it was kind of an interesting little thing there. And they're cranking this idea up to 11 with this Fusion Forge. This thing is totally necessary. I think this is a long time coming. And this isn't just for weapons. It looks like it's also for jewels. But here, for an example, and I'm gonna assume that anyone watching this still plays V-Rising. They kind of know their stuff. I'm not gonna walk you through it too much, but say you have Siren's Wail, and you need an Illusion Greatsword to do the combo, the Greatsword Q into like Crossbow E and fear them. But your Illusion Greatsword sucks, and you don't want to use that specific. You want Illusion, right? But you don't want the stats. Well, you have a different weapon like a Chaos or Blood Greatsword, right? And it's got amazing stats. Well, you can take your Illusion Greatsword and your Blood Greatsword and say, hey, I want Illusion, but I want all the stats from the Blood Greatsword, and I'll fuse them. And there you go. Illusion Greatsword with great stats. So that is absolutely necessary. Right now, the weapon, the way you obtain weapons in the game is just completely frustrating. Sometimes it's just too RNG based, and this gives a way to give characters some more control over their progression path. Next here, they talk about all the artifacts and giving them unique appearances, like the Morningstar. I think the Morningstar is the only one that has a unique appearance right now in the game. So, I mean, hey, if this is the Hand of Winter, holy crap, dude! Like, I would just default that. It looks so sick. Endbringers, Wings of the Fallen. I'm sure they're gonna add this for like all the weapons, or most of them. But yeah, they'll look pretty cool. And then here we start to get into the PvP changes I was talking about earlier. The first thing they're adding is dueling. So you can place down this little dueling flag. And say you're on like a PvE. I hope this works on PvE servers too, by the way. But you're on a server and you say, hey, I have a problem with you. And we're going to deal with this and not grief each other. We're going to deal with this like men. So yeah, I'm going to duel you. So you place the challenge banner. The other person accepts it, and you duel. And after the fact, you have a victor, and then everyone's health gets put back up to 100. So you no longer need to like invest time into saying like, hey, I'm gonna do an event, so I need to get on an hour before and like farm blood potions and repair materials and all that crap. So this lowers the barrier of entry to PvP, which is just an amazing change. Completely necessary. And I'll get it. There's arenas too. They're adding this into the game. I'll get to that in a second, but really quick, I just want to show you the stat that they gave. Our data shows that less than 1 in 5 players have ever died in PvP. 1 in 5. 1 in 5 people have PvP'd in V-Rising. I mean, that to me is just mind blowing. Like, the PvP is so good in the game, and I get it. Like, the community sucks, absolute scum of humanity. Like, that's just the way it is. Games like this, Rust, you know, you have to find the right server, and I understand that. Like, if you're a noob trying to get into the game and you start PvPing and someone just absolutely dunks on you and you're like, you know what, this sucks, they're rude, I'm not going to get into it. But hopefully this gives an alternative for those people. Like, you have a custom arena and say, hey, on this server I'm going to invite like this clan, or multiple clans. Hey, come over to my castle. I've placed an arena station and I've made a little arena so we can duke it out without all this barrier to entry, like, being good at farming repair materials, and you have this stockpile of healing potions and all that stuff. I'm curious what they'll do with the blood types. Like, if you come in with Scholar blood and whatever, you want to fight with Scholar and you lose a round, does your blood get reset, or how's that work? I mean, they have the technology to reset that, because that's how it works in the Dracula fight. So that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, they're showing some placeholder UI here. You can see up here the arena status, different players, blue team, red team. You can assign teams. You no longer have to like worry about who's in the clan. You can just temporarily put them here, and I guess in the zone they'll be either red team or blue team. So you can stay in your clan. That's another thing. Lower barrier to entry, less annoying to get into it. Take a sip of my coffee here, and then I'm gonna talk about this UI really quick. So the UI, obviously this is placeholder, but what I'm going to talk about here doesn't really have to do with the action bar in this UI up here. An issue with the PvP in this game is it does a horrible job of giving information to the player in PvP. And I'll give an example. Like, if you're in a team fight and you're fighting someone with Soulburn. This is just an example. I can come up with a bunch. But you're fighting someone with Soulburn, right? And someone on your team runs Blood Rage. So you get Blood Rage on your character, and it ticks down right above your nameplate like this. But then you also get Soulburned. And at this point, you can't see that you've been Soulburned, or at least not easily, because it only shows one data point. Like, it'll only show you one status effect, and that's just complete garbage. Like, just imagine a world where we have these nameplates, right? And you're in a team fight, and there's like a little icon above the enemy that shows that they're weakened and they have static and they're chilled, right? But maybe you wouldn't have known that they have weaken on them because they're chilled, and it's like, obscuring the fact that they have illusion on them. Just the player model, right? Now you just look at their nameplate and say, oh, hey, this guy has weaken on him. So I'm going to get off my main target and I'm going to crossbow E him with Siren's Wail and CC him out of the fight. So just that interaction right there, just that little piece of information, and the skill cap of the game has just completely ascended even further than it already has. Just giving players the information, all the information of what's happening, is just completely essential. Like, it needs to happen. It absolutely needs to happen, especially if they're going to add stuff like arenas. And they're going to have little like Stunlock arena tournaments and stuff like that. We need the information on the UI represented better than it is right now. It just needs to happen. One more thing I'll talk about before we go is the rest of this really quick. We have a new landmass, and this looks like it's going to be something like Shadowlands. They don't really specify it here, but this guy kind of looks like Leandra, and it says the time will come to rise against a new threat, and you'll be able to claim their dark secrets for yourself. To me, that sounds like we're getting a new spell tree, which will be Shadow. And it's not unprecedented. We have, of course, the static tree, which was added in Gloomrot. So probably a new spell tree, which would be awesome. A bunch of new spells. Just another way to customize your character in your build even further than you can right now. Always a good option. Or a good thing. We also have a new shard bearer. Probably going to be parallel to Dracula, maybe less. I feel like Dracula is still going to be the main boss. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. But new shard bearer, a bunch of new V-Bloods, the new zone, new technologies, different crafting tables, all the stuff you'd expect, just like Gloomrod in 1.0. But there's this sentence right here. If you can endure the ultimate battle, you'll claim a new devastating shard and unlock a legendary item recipe. Now, originally I thought this would be like a new artifact weapon that was harder to obtain than the others, but the nomenclature doesn't really make sense here. So to me, this sounds like, you know, a crown or some headpiece you're going to make that gives you stats. Because all the headpieces right now are what do you call them? They're just like appearances. They don't have any stats on them. Or maybe it's like a cape or some other thing. I'm curious what ideas you guys have in the comments, but you know, I'm sure this will be interesting. Probably unique per server, securing your place as the undisputed Vampire Lord of Ardorin. So probably only one per server. That's why I was thinking it was a crown, but we'll see. It's too early to share everything we've been working on. Obviously, this is probably going to be coming out in May if there are past schedules or anything to work off of. But rest assured, we'll have more information as we continue development. As always, we're incredibly grateful for your patience and unwavering support. I really, really hope they address some of the issues that have existed since 1.0 came out. To this date, it's been like 5 months. And they just haven't. And it's really, really, really disappointing and frightening for the future of this game. Like it shows that they don't really care about the community. I'm sorry, that's just how it looks. This update looks awesome. A lot of cool things happening here, but they just have to address the balancing issues. They have to address the bugs that have been in the game since 1.0. Like, for example, the big one. Spear auto after dash. It's just pathetic. I'm sorry, but they gotta fix that. Anyways, don't want to be all doom and gloom. Definitely excited for this update, regardless of my cynicism. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you in Vardorin. A lot of good things to look forward to here. So, yep. Thanks for watching. Catch y'all later.